Jamel President grew up less than a mile from the College of Charleston and graduated from Burke High School. He was as hard-nosed and spirited as any player I have ever coached. On the defensive end, he always guarded our opponent's best scorer. His jump shot was picture perfect, and he iced many games with his foul shots. In fact, in his senior year, he ranked 4th nationally from the foul stripe. He played in the backcourt with Anthony Johnson, and they made a magnificent duo. In an NCAA game against Stanford at the United Center in Chicago, Jamel was voted Chevrolet Player of the Game. After graduation from the college, Jamel has given so much back to the community. He presents to youngsters seminars in SAT taking and academics, and conducts clinics and camps teaching the ABCs of basketball. He is also president and CEO of the DAE Foundation. Jamel, congratulations, and a big thanks for your contributions and the role model you have become for the youth of Charleston.
President Benson.
Fundamentally mindful. And tonight, oatmeal recipe edition, we got Janet Carter talking about nutrition, Harry Cornell focusing on academics, and myself will be talking about skill development.
Every year, thousands of young athletes are sidelined and diagnosed with asthma. But as our Dr. Malika Marshall explains, many are misdiagnosed, and their real condition is even easier to treat without drugs.
Beth Radcliffe is your typical active high school sophomore. But in 8th grade, the Holliston teen began struggling to breathe while playing her favorite sports.
It was really frightening because I didn't know what was happening and I didn't know what to do.
Beth was first diagnosed with sports-induced asthma, then full-blown asthma, and given an inhaler. But she still had trouble keeping up.
There was definitely a point when I didn't think I was going to be able to continue on with sports.
Turns out Beth didn't need an inhaler. She needed a speech pathologist.
We'll run through the rescue breathing technique.
Beth's asthma diagnosis was wrong. She really has PVFM, or paradoxical vocal fold motion.
What it is the inappropriate closure of the vocal folds while you're breathing in.
And that makes it hard to breathe. Asthma medications don't fix the problem. Instead, patients need to learn to control their throat muscles with a variety of breathing exercises. And the staff at Mass Eye and Ear is seeing a sharp increase in cases, especially among teenagers.
We are identifying it in teenagers because it does directly impact their quality of life in school sports.
It's estimated that about 5% of sports-induced asthma cases are really PVFM, a much easier condition to treat.
People with PVFM that are using inhalers are actually unnecessarily putting those medications into their body.
But it's still important to rule out asthma first, which can be life-threatening.
Failure of a pulmonary test means it's not in the lungs, and we can start searching elsewhere, like in the throat.
After a few training sessions, Beth was ready to hit the court. And now breathing strategies are as important as game strategy.
It is very relieving because you don't have to worry about bringing an inhaler, bringing a medicine, or taking a pill every day. I know anywhere I am, because I practice doing it, I can just take control of the situation.
And you can stay in the game now.
Yeah, I can. I don't have to take breaks.
Dr. Malika Marshall, WBZ News.
DAE TV, fundamentally mindful.
Hello and welcome back to DAE TV. This is the nutrition segment, and I am Janet Carter, a registered dietitian at MUSC. And today we're going to talk about the controversial dairy group. We've been talking about the other food groups, and today it's dairy. And I say controversial because, in my professional opinion, I don't believe that we need to have as much dairy as the government says that we need to have. The USDA is influenced by the Dairy Council, and so the 3-a-day serving recommendation I feel is a lot. And there's just a lot to be said about dairy. So I'm not going to get into it too much, but if you choose to have dairy in your diet, milk, yogurt, etc., definitely choose fat-free or low-fat versions. That is going to be the best choice for you. But just bear in mind that you don't have to have dairy in your diet in order to have nice, strong bones. Dairy does supply calcium to our body, but so do a lot of other things like green leafy vegetables and fortified orange juice and things like that. The other thing is that you can have as much calcium floating around in your body as you want, but if you don't create a situation where your bones ask for it, it'll just stay in your bloodstream. So the point I'm making is that you need to be physically active and put weight on your bones in order for them to take the calcium out of the blood to strengthen them. So again, if you're going to choose dairy, make sure it's low fat or no fat, but just bear in mind there are other ways to get calcium into your diet. If you have any particular questions that you would like me to address on DAE TV, please email me at dietjc24@yahoo.com, or also if you would like your own personal recommendations, I can provide those for you as well. Email me anytime. Thank you.
Unlike Division 1, let's discuss Division 2 core course requirements. Division 2 requires 3 years of English, 2 years of mathematics, Algebra 1 or higher, 2 years of natural science, 1 year of lab if offered by the high school, 3 years of additional English, math, or science, 2 years of social science, and 4 years of any additional courses from any of the above areas, foreign language, or comparative religion, or philosophy. As you take a look at the Division II core courses, they also equal 16 core courses. They're categorized in different ways than Division I, but they still equal 16 core courses. Let's talk about these core courses and where they come from. The core courses are compiled from the list of approved core courses. The list of approved courses is the curriculum offered at each individual school submitted to the NCAA by the school administrator, guidance counselor, or some appointed school official appointed by that school. Each school has their own list of approved core courses. Each curriculum is different. Each list of approved core courses is different. If an athlete has a class on his transcript that does not match the list of approved core courses, that class does not count towards NCAA eligibility. When knowing and understanding the 16 core course requirement for Division I and Division II, it's very, very, very important to know your student's grading scale. The grades obtained within the 16 core courses will be a direct reflection of initial eligibility through the NC2A. Tune in next week on Fundamentally Mindful, where we go deep into the grading scale of South Carolina and how it compares to the neighboring states. How does it affect our athletes? Positive, negative, the unknown. For more information about initial eligibility and NC2A rules, contact me at page 16 p.a.c.e@outlook.com. Email me for more information.
DAE TV Fundamentally Mindful.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. You gotta make it, big boy. Way to work. Way to work. Let's go. You gotta make it, big boy. Let's go. Let's go. Get there. Get there. Come on. Get there. That's not getting speed. You gotta sell that sulfate. Let's go. Sell it. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, big boy. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Get there. Get there. Come on. We got 30 seconds. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. It's 1, 3, 2, 1. Square up. It's a good shot. You gotta be so high. There you go. Right there. Let's go. Flip that wrist. There you go. Not too much. Good. Good shot. Let's go. Come on. Stay with it. Find it. Let's go. You're killing your momentum when you do that. Keep on going. Let's go. Don't kill your momentum. Let's go. 10 seconds. Come on, let's go. 5, 4, 3. Shot. Let's go. Shot. Good. Let's go. Bouncy, Bo. Bouncy. No, not balance. Bouncy. Shoot with confidence. Let's go. Shoot to make. Let's go. It's right there. There you go. That's your shot. You give that same form every time. That's it right there, Bo. You can get that every time. That same flow like that. That was a little different. That's it right there. That's your shot right there. Let's go. That's not it. Let's go. That's your shot. Let's go. Good passes. That's not it. Come on, let's go. That's it right there. Let's go. Good passes. That's not it. Let's go. That's it right there, bro. Let's go. 10 seconds. Let's go. Good. Let's go. 5, 4, 3. One more. 2, 1. Shot.
When you think of Thomas Lee Greer, you think of farming and John Zeller. But have you thought about politics? He's running for Charleston County Council on November 4th. I had a chance to talk exclusively with him for a special edition of Quintus Close-Ups. Thomas, I understand that you have been extremely busy.
Yeah, extremely the last month or two.
Yeah, working on the farm, picking up grain from the breweries and distilleries. Tell me, as we sit here right now, how are you?
I'm doing good. Ready for Tuesday to get here so we can find out what the results are going to be and get it over with and declare a victory, hopefully.
Yeah. And let's rewind time to Friday, October 31st. Many Charlestonians opened their copy of the Post and Courier, and the headline read this: County Council needs Legree. In the beginning, the article says, quote, in the only contested race for Charleston County Council, voters should choose Republican challenger Thomas Legree, a Johns Island farmer who has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to growth management and rural preservation during his years as a community leader. In the article, it mentioned your opposition to I-526 extension, the Johns Island Greenway, and more. And the letter says this: at the conclusion of the article, he has been a vocal advocate for rural preservation and land protection for years, and will bring that sustained commitment to County Council where it is much needed. Tell me, when you read that particular endorsement, what was going through your mind?
I was tickled to death. I thought it was a great article, a great endorsement, and I'm really happy that they endorsed me. I was very, very proud to receive that.
Yeah. And although you have received this great publicity from the Post-Courier, you're really fighting some political demons.
I am. There's a PAC been formed to basically take me out.
Right.
Their goal is to support people who are on county council and the state house who are in favor of 526 and the Cross Island Road. And they might as well have named it I Hate Thomas Legree PAC, because they're going after me. And I look for them to go after other people in the future. But this time, this election cycle, they're going after me.
And where are you emotionally? Because it seems like it's taking a toll on you.
I don't let it worry me.
Okay.
You know, I learned a long time ago to have a thick skin and let it go in one ear and out the other. My mom and daddy taught me a long time ago and the good Christian values to turn the other cheek.
Yes, indeed. And so besides the fight between Anna Johnson and yourself, you mentioned you are campaigning a lot. I know that you're meeting with a lot of business owners as well as residents. Tell me, what are you receiving from them? What do they want from county council?
Well, most people are really upset with Ms. Johnson because she campaigned against 526 4 years ago, and they gave her their support, their money, and their votes, and she turned around and stabbed them in the back on that, and then she did a bad zoning issue on Folly Road that a lot of people are upset about, and they're upset about that. I think people are unhappy with politicians from Washington to Columbia to Leeds Avenue, where county council is located, and they're sick and tired of politicians saying one thing and doing another. And I think people want to see a change in our government, in our political parties. And I think Mrs. Johnson is, you know, she didn't live up to her word, and that's really hurt a lot of people that trusted her and felt like she was a friend. And that's one thing I hope to do is, I will do, is live up to the word I give to constituents. When I make them a promise, I'll stick to it.
Yes. Well, describe to me the following in one word: the I-526 extension.
In one word: idiotic.
The Johns Island Greenway. You can go ahead, yeah, go for it.
In one word, is very difficult.
You can go,
but that is the stupidest idea, the most destructive thing that ever happened to Johns Island. It's claimed to save lives, but according to the county's own traffic studies in a 4-year period, out of 19 fatalities on Johns Island, 15 of them are alcohol related. Half of them were on the northern side of Johns Island, half were on the southern side, but 15 out of 19 were alcohol related. Tells me we don't have a road problem, we have a people problem.
Interesting. One word describe ecotourism, that is.
It's wonderful.
Yes, yes.
You know, I think we're seeing more and more of it. My business and farm is getting benefits from, is benefiting from it. Johns Island is benefiting from it. We have a lot of ecotourism business. We have a lot of agritourism businesses in Charleston County now. More and more people are realizing the advantages of it. And Charleston's the #1 tourist destination in the world. And not everybody's coming here to stroll the Battery. They also want to bird watch. They want to go to pumpkin patches. They want to visit the beaches. They want to kayak in our creeks.
Good tea.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Pay raise for the Charleston County Council.
That's a tough one.
Okay.
I realize that it takes a lot of time. I don't know exactly how much time they do spend because I'm not on there yet. I know how much time I spend talking to people and trying to help people with issues, and I'm not even on council yet. And even before I was running for council, people call me and ask me to help them with issues on Johns Island because our current council person will not even return phone calls.
Wow.
It's a tough job, and it does take a lot of time. I just think with the economy like it is, and we're still coming out of a depression, that now is not the right time for county council to give themselves a pay raise. It is probably deserved, but it could have waited a few more years because a lot of people are living hand to mouth and paycheck to paycheck.
That's true.
And that's when you see them getting that big a raise, I think it's really tough.
I'm Mike Bowman. I am head of pediatric pulmonary at MUSC, and I'm also a member of the Asthma Alliance Board of Directors for South Carolina. And we have had a 2-day program here in Charleston for asthma education for all types of folks who are involved with asthma. Both we dealt with school nurses, we've dealt with physicians and nurse practitioners, nurses, respiratory therapists, and today we're having a session with families and children trying to improve education about asthma. One of the major things we wanted to do was to include the fact that children who have asthma can play very hard. We wanted them to get up-to-date and very aggressive involvement with sports, because they need to realize that youngsters who have asthma don't need to sit out. We want them to be able to participate, have fun with activities, and do it safely. Not everyone's going to be a professional athlete, but we want them to be able to be out on the field as they would like to and their friends do, so they don't have to be bench sitters. We see a lot of children whose parents will tell us, oh, they do fine with exercise, but when we ask what did they do, we say, well, she likes to play with dolls, or he likes to do a lot of video games. We find that they do nothing. They don't realize that the other children who are playing, or teens, don't have these problems with being short of breath and being so uncomfortable when they're active. So we want them to be able to keep up with their cousins and their siblings and their friends at school, doing anything that they want to do, and our medicines will allow them to do that. So our goal with our treatment of asthma is that activity is a major part of each of our patients' daily lives.
And if kids are more educated about the disease, then they'll be more confident in competitive sports.
Yes, there are a lot of nationally known, internationally known athletes who have asthma. Jerome Bettis, Tyson Chandler, David Beckham, supposedly I guess Kobe Bryant has asthma, Jackie Joyner-Kersee. There are a whole lot of people who are very well known in their sports world for doing wonderfully, and they have asthma. Apparently Tyson Chandler, when he was drafted by the Bulls, was just getting run over in rookie camp until someone suggested that he might see a doctor, and now he can be an all-star. So it's something that definitely should not hold anyone back.
Who here has asthma? 5 of you? Tell me your story. When did you first find out you had asthma?
When I was a little kid in grade school. We were at recess and I just started coughing and wheezing. Honestly, I couldn't breathe at all. And I started turning purple and I collapsed. So they called the ambulance and they had to rush me to the ER. And I had it ever since.
I was about the same age. I love sports. And I just noticed that I was getting really tired all the time. And just wasn't able to play like the other kids.
I was like that too. But I didn't get tested till I was like 13. Because they always thought it was because of my weight and not asthma that made it hard for me to breathe. What about you, Tyson? When did you find out?
It was while I was in training camp with the Chicago Bulls. I was 23 and I just noticed I had trouble catching my breath. I tried to play through it. You know, I toughed it out before, but I went to the doctor and he diagnosed me with asthma. I probably had asthma for years and just didn't recognize the symptoms. But let me tell you, taking my controlled medicine every day and feeling confident is much better than just dealing with it.
Is that why you've been traded so many times?
My name is Dave Spurlock. I'm the coordinator for health and physical education, district wellness, athletics, and ROTC for Charleston County School District. We're here today working with Medical University of South Carolina and Dr. Michael Bowman who is the lead pulmonary expert for adolescent pediatric pulmonary problems. And this is an event to show kids that have asthma that they can be involved in athletics, they can be involved in physical education to a high degree and to a high demand. We're looking for children to be able to have overall health in the entire spectrum of kids that we have, from the very well conditioned to kids that do have some sort of setbacks in their life. So we're hoping that this will be a program that will help them understand that they can be active and that they can participate in athletics.
Kids didn't exactly bust on me or call me names, but I got used to being picked last for basketball games because they didn't know if I was going to have an attack or not, or if I was going to be able to keep up.
So how do you deal with your asthma now?
It's a part of me. I just deal with it.
With my meds and my inhaler.
You let it slow you down?
No way, I never let it slow me down.
Have you talked to your doctor about controlling medicines?
Yeah, he gave me something to take every day. What about you? How do you handle it?
Everyone's different, but to stay at the top of my game, I have to listen to my doctor, follow my plan, and take my medicine. That's one of the ways I help to keep my asthma under control. I keep my inhaler close while I'm playing. I try to control the asthma so it doesn't control me. You guys know about triggers?
Oh, yeah.
Man, mine are dust, pollen, dead leaves, and lawn clippings.
Dust and pollen too.
Grass, pollen, exercise.
Are your parents on your side?
Yeah, they're always on my back to clean and dust my room, but that's just so I don't have an attack.
But no one really looks after you but you, right?
I mean, it's my responsibility to take care of my health. I have 2 rescue inhalers at my house, just in case. I keep one in my backpack, and I take my medicine every day. My parents are great, but it's up to me, you know?
You talk to your doctor?
Yeah, I have like 2 or 3 checkups a year. So yeah, got a plan.
Stick to it. You'll be glad you did.
We had a young lady a couple of years ago who had a horrible fall, August, September, October, and it wasn't until the end of October that we realized that this school year she was sitting next to a girl who liked body spray, and that the body spray really triggered her asthma. And I would raise the point for the congregation that it wouldn't be at all surprising if the person sitting in front of the person who has the shortness of breath actually had nifty perfume. And so what Mike said about getting out of the exposure can be helpful. So with this young lady, we wound up moving the 2 girls to different corners of the room, and things went fine. So each youngster with asthma has a different set of triggers. Some it's cold, some it is virus. I mean, it's inhalation. Tobacco smoke is always a problem. Exhaust is a problem, but each one is different. But I think working with the nurse at your school and asking that family to get from their doctor a peak flow meter, and then when you send the girl to the nurse, have the nurse check the numbers and see if there really is a bronchial and airway problem that's saying you need to leave the room.
And this is what the peak flow meter looks like. And it's like Dr. Bowman said, it's a really simple device. You have them just take a deep breath in, deep as they can, blow out hard and fast. And it reads. What they need to do is just get their best reading. I got 400. That's good. I'm an asthmatic. I'm a bad asthmatic. And I got 400. I'm doing good. So, and it has, they get their best reading and they set the little markers for their zones. And when it starts getting down low from what their best reading is, you know that they're starting to have problems. So, you know, children who have asthma really should have one of these at school so you can check them to make sure they're not just trying to get out of class.
At first, I didn't want to believe it, but you spend a night in the ER with your boy barely able to breathe, and you become a believer. There's plenty in our neighborhood to worry about. We've got gangs and drugs, and teenagers will always be teenagers. So asthma isn't the worst thing, but it definitely is something that has to be managed.
One thing that's worth noting for you athletic folks is that when we have had some of our elite athletes who have problems when they get to high school or travel team sports, the workouts are so tough at 4:30 or 5 till 7 or whatever, that morning dose of medicine doesn't last all the way to evening. And so we have had some folks in all the different sports who have gotten much better control by moving the evening dose that they take before they go to bed, moving that up to after school. And then they're able to get through their workout for soccer or basketball or football or gymnastics. And so that's one thing. It doesn't matter very often at all for elementary school kids, but for the middle school folks who are on travel teams and the high schoolers, for sure, moving that evening dose can make a big difference. We don't like the controller medicine to live in two places, namely at home and in the gym bag, but that may be a trade-off that gets them through the late afternoon stuff. And you may have youngsters or your players who have problems when the workout is in the evening compared to a Saturday morning workout or a game. And in that case, that may be a good tip-off that, gosh, if we could move that 9 o'clock dose up to 4 o'clock, they might do much better going through the heavy afternoon or evening workout and games.
Another technique that we use in the schools, whenever there's a breathing issue, is to try to get the child to take a big gulp and hold it for a second, which is really impossible when you're hyperventilating, but you can try, because it forces them to go so that they're actually getting some oxygen in there as opposed to just blowing it out like a balloon as fast as they get it in. So, you know, just techniques like that can always help. But for some reason, the terminology that has worked best for us is to make as small of a hole as possible when you're, when you're letting the air out, because if you just say in through your nose, out through your mouth, they still go, you know, as opposed to blowing it out. It's like a warm-up exercise for singers. I mean, get as much oxygen in there as possible.
If you have no medicines and nothing to do, the number one thing to do is get the person to just relax a little bit. And exactly the technique she said. Just kind of let them relax. The other thing I would say is if you know that there are people with asthma within your congregation or within whatever group you're with, I mean, an inhaler is kind of like your underwear. Do not leave the house, okay, without your respiratory inhaler. So make sure if you've got people, you know, that, and this is a great message that can come from the pulpit or Wednesday night church meetings or whatever. If y'all got asthma, don't come here without your inhaler. Please have it, because I can't tell you the number of asthmatics that we see come into the emergency room or an urgent care center. Sunday afternoon after church, there's a lot of perfumes. There's things that just trigger these attacks. So two things. Encourage people to always have their rescue medicine with them. And secondarily, if they don't, it's all about staying calm until you can get somewhere. Asthma is very scary, but it's not like your airways tend to just go, they go, and then you can get excited and make it worse. So I think Danielle's right.
And the other thing that's really important, especially at church or anywhere, for someone that they find that trigger, you know, that triggers their asthma, get them away from that. First thing, get them away from that trigger. And then you go into using the inhaler or, you know, the breathing techniques. But, you know, that one thing that triggers it, get them away from it and don't let them go back once they start feeling better, because it's just going to trigger them again. So that's really, really important.
You're recording this?
Yep.
That's terrible.
We bottom. We bottom.
Ooh, nice save. Ready? Yes. Really?
I'll bet the girls would be good at catching it on foot.
Dr. Bowman mentioned, I run a program called Asthma Academy. Mania meaning we are a little crazy. And our kids, when they come through the program, one of the things that they get when they leave is this T-shirt on the back that says, "I'm a control freak," meaning that they've got their asthma under control. And that's something that's super important. So first of all, I was watching you guys out there, and y'all were amazing. That was great. I wanted to go out there. But so, are there any of the volunteers who have asthma or have been told they have asthma? And I would actually expect there's probably usually about 1 out of 10 or 11 kids will have some asthma. So some of the questions that we ask through just to sort of see do they is when you're out running and playing like this, do you find that you're way out ahead of the rest of the crowd, or you're kind of with everybody, or are you the one that sort of has to stop and catch the breath and not quite be there? And if the answer is, well, no, a lot of times I got to stop, while the other kids are still running, that's perfectly fine, but we need to know that, okay? So the number one thing I want anyone to know is that asthma should never limit you from being as active as you want to be. So there are Olympians with asthma, there are NBA basketball players, there's NFL football players. So just because some doctor says you've got asthma, that doesn't mean you need to be the person that kind of takes it easy. Is the things that you can do to, I'm sorry, who was it that said, so do you use medicine before you exercise, or you just have something that you take if you need to?
I just have a medicine.
You just do what?
Maintenance.
Okay, all right, good. So that's a good answer. So a lot of, and there's some kids that actually need to take a medicine before exercise. Ideally, what we'd like to see is that you're on a maintenance medicine that keeps your airways kind of calmed down, and you can run and play just as much as ever. So that's that's perfect.
The feeling that you can't breathe out. You can breathe in, but you can't get the air out. Just your whole throat just is constricted, and you're just like, you're trying to force the air out, and it just feels like you can't breathe, like you're suffocating. Yeah. It's scary, and then the more, like, if you don't have your inhaler with you, the more you freak out, the more, of course, your heart starts to race, and you want to breathe more, and it's kind of one of those things where you have to stay calm and chew your inhaler. So I always have my inhaler in my sports bra when I'm running. No, but just because I know what it's like to struggle with asthma, and I mean, it's definitely not fun, and it's limited some of my abilities, like being younger, like not knowing really what it was, and then once I did know what it was, the overprotectiveness of coaches and everything else. So I mean, it's kind of like one of those things that you'll always have to write it down, like if you have medical conditions or something like that, you'll always have that reminder, and to know that something like that can be caused so young, like kids having to be not do the sports that they want to do because they have this condition or anything else, or lead to lung problems in the future. I mean, it's terrible that these kids are so young and they're getting affected by it.
DAE TV Fundamentally Mindful.
DAE TV Fundamentally Mindful. We're here today with Mr. Rick Barry and Mr. Mike Bowman. How you doing today, guys?
Doing great, Jamel. Nice to see you as always.
Good. We're going to go right into it. Dr. Bowman, it's on you first. Tell us a little bit about Dr. Bowman, where you're from, where you grew up, a little collegiate years, and so forth and so on.
I grew up in central Illinois, in Urbana, Illinois, where the University of Illinois is, and went to college there, and then went to med school and grad school at the University of Wisconsin. So we got used to the Little 8 and the Big 2 in the Big 10, and then when my training went through Madison and Nashville and Denver, and then I worked in Los Angeles for a while, and then in 2000 I came to Charleston to the Medical University of South Carolina to establish a children's lung program, and I've been here for the 14 years since then. And currently the thing I do the most with is dealing with kids with asthma, trying to help them be totally normal, functional kids, and work a lot with the schools. And that's how we came together in terms of trying to get kids to recognize that they can do sports just as much as anybody else. So
right.
That's what I'm about at this point.
Right, because we did do an event a couple of weekends ago at the at Mount Moriah, which was a great event, and hopefully we can put another one like that again in the future.
Be great.
Yeah. Tell people about your ranking and what you do as far as the asthma is concerned, and some of the accolades you have from that.
Well,
I'm gonna pass it. I'm in the same boat as him.
He's probably not used to holding a ball while he's speaking.
That's true, but that's fine. Long ago I did, but I was too short and too slow. Anyway, I'm a professor of pediatrics at MUSC, and I'm the asthma champion for the State Academy of Pediatrics. And those are the main things. I'm on the board of directors of the South Carolina Asthma Alliance. And so our goal there is to reach basically the whole state, trying to teach caregivers and families and patients about how to take care of asthma effectively. And so part of the program where we met was the 3-day event that we had 2 weeks ago, where we met with school nurses, we met with doctors and nurse practitioners, and then nurses, respiratory therapists, and pharmacists, and then with families. So it winds up being the goal is to get the word out that asthma is a treatable condition, and that folks just need to learn about it, realize that it's a long-term condition that they need to take care of, and their kids don't have to be held back from participation. A lot of folks say, oh no, when he goes out and plays, I wind up in the ER that night, and I don't want to do that. He has to sit on the sideline, or they'll tell the teacher at school, my youngster has asthma, she can't play, and we want to reverse that.
Right. I mean, briefly talk about that, because if kids is educated about it, on how to treat it, when they get of age, they wouldn't be so afraid of receiving that attack at some point. This is more a conditioning thing about it.
Where can people get more information?
There are a whole lot of websites in our area. We're at the Medical University of South Carolina, and so we have a Your Child's Asthma website. But there's the National Organization of Mothers of Asthmatics that's easily findable. The American Lung Association has a lot of information. Probably the first place to start is with the family doctor, and just ask what things they see and how they can help. And then the South Carolina Asthma Alliance, the website is scasthmaalliance.org, and that has lots of information and links to other sites.
Hi, I'm Tyson Chandler, center for the Charlotte Bobcats of the NBA, and I have asthma, just like you. That's right. I played for 3 different teams over 7 years in the NBA after being diagnosed with asthma. So I'm here to tell you that just because you may have asthma doesn't mean you have to give up trying to achieve your dreams. With the proper care, a good support system, like a great doctor, your family, hard work and dedication, nothing can stop you from working to achieve your goals.
Dark times and strive toward a fresh breath of air, bring a new light. Still forward, it's important to remember that it goes away. So I'm prepared instead of being scared when I go out to play. It's unfair. Sometimes you feel alone, but we all here to say the same answer. So feel right at home. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in.
Listen, having asthma isn't easy. Nobody knows that better than me. But if I can play in the NBA, running up and down the court all night with the world's best athletes, then you can try to reach your goals and dreams too. But you have to stay focused and work with your team. Everyone's different, but if you put your mind to it, you can work towards your goals, just like I did. Asthma or no asthma. So talk to your family and talk to your doctor about a treatment plan that's right for you. And then keep talking to them.
Breathe out.